Calling out all my nerds, freaks, and geeks. It's mob time.
Don't tune in cause it's showtime. Go ahead and call the gang up for the one time. Rap, Phoop, Ryun, got them on the line. And my life's still great, I'm doing just fine. Hands up.
What's up, y'all, and welcome to the Blerd Mob, your hub for all things black and nerdy. I'm your host, Phoop, joined by my two co-hosts, Ryun and Antoine. And we are here today to bring you our mob review of Marvel Studios' Fantastic Four. So if this is your first time here, just know that all of our mob reviews are spoiler-filled. So if you have not seen Fantastic Four or not finished the movie in full, make sure you pause this video, leave a comment, let us know you're coming back, finish the movie, and come hear the rest of the conversation. But if you are used to the mob reviews, welcome to another show. We're gonna hop straight into it. So the Fantastic Four First Steps is the official name of the movie. It dropped July 25th, 2025, and I believe this marks the first movie for MCU Phase 6.
Mm-hmm.
I think so. So let's just start overall. So how did we feel about the movie as a whole in comparison to other MCU introduction like movies, as well as previous Fantastic Four installments?
I'm gonna be real, y'all gonna have to. I'm gonna have to rely on y'all to. Y'all gonna be the ones to keep this Bob review positive. I fell asleep, and y'all know what that means. I fell asleep. I was asleep for about 20 minutes, and I'm just being honest with you.
Ooh.
I ain't really care for it. Y'all, Antoine, you keep it positive.
Damn, that's all he had to say.
Yikes.
All right, Antoine, we got to hold it up.
You gotta raise the roof.
We got to hold it up. We about to almighty push this shit.
I ain't gonna do them like that. I'm gonna be real. I had low expectations because when they first started announcing it and they were releasing trailers and stuff, they had the whole retro theme to it, and I was kind of iffy about that. I was like, I don't know if I'm gonna like that for real. Like, why I look like that? But I'll say I think they did it in a nice way. I'm glad we didn't get the whole backstory like spread out in that movie. I'm glad they kind of just touched on it, and we met them as an established team already. They already got their superpowers. People already know and love them. They kind of just dived into it and gave us bits and pieces of how they got to the point of where they were. So I did like that part. Overall, I like the movie. I I could have been disappointed, but I wasn't disappointed. So
I will say that it was interesting because I was like, the Superman movie I think was like one of the first movies that I can recall where they really didn't do a origin story introduction. And as seeing Fantastic Four right after that, I was like, oh, so is this the new trend for hero movies going forward? I ain't mad at it if everything is a reboot and everything going forward. So that was an interesting approach for it.
I thought the movie was solid. As a standalone MCU movie, I was talking to McMillian about this from Girl on Taco Council, and he made a very good point that this movie felt like a Phase 1 movie. That we're getting introduced to characters, and the only Easter eggs or gotchas that we get going towards future movies happens in the end credit scene. But this very well felt like just an introduction to characters. And it kind of makes me think that if Doom had been like the plan A for the multiverse saga, that it's possible that this movie could have came first in the series.
I could see that if that was the original plan. I could see why you say that.
If Doom had been the the plan A, I could see Fantastic Four coming out earlier instead of coming out in Phase 6 while we're trying to ramp up for Doomsday and Secret Wars. So as a standalone movie, I enjoyed it. Like Antoine said, I like the fact that we skipped the origin. I like the fact that they have been the Fantastic Four for a few years. And that they have a good grip on their powers. To compare it to The previous Fantastic Four movies, mainly the one with Jessica Alba and Chris Evans as Human Torch. The first movie was origin and them getting used to their powers and just struggling with the fact of like, do we want to keep these powers or do we want everything to go back to normal? And then we had the Mr. Fantastic, Invisible Woman, Doctor Doom love triangle thing going on. And then the second movie is where we get into the Silver Surfer Galactus plot line. So I do like that they already had a good grip on their powers. It wasn't, oh, we just got these powers and now we have to deal with Galactus and the Silver Surfer and all this other shit going on.
Yeah.
However,
Okay.
I will say that I was a bit underwhelmed about how this movie is transitioning us into Doomsday.
Fair point.
If I had to compare it to anything, I would compare this to the way that Captain Marvel was introduced as part of the Infinity Saga, because I believe Captain Marvel was the last movie that came out before Infinity War. And the way that they were marketing it, or the hype around it, if I remember correctly, made it seem like you had to see this movie before Infinity War or before Endgame or something like that. And when we watched it, the movie itself is just an introduction to the character. And the end credit scene is what tied into the whole Thanos plot line. But I would say this go round, I was a bit unfulfilled because in Infinity War, by the time we got to Captain Marvel, we already knew Thanos was coming. The setup was there. So I wasn't, too but this, we got in no build up to Doom. Doomsday is 2 movies away. And the end credit scene kind of left me feeling like I wish there was a little bit more here. Like there's a lot to pick apart from it, but I think I was looking for something stronger for the end credit scene. And at least my assumption going into this movie was that this is something that you need to watch, that we need to watch before Avengers Doomsday. And it wasn't that.
I would have to argue that I fully agree with that one, because after Thunderbolts, everybody was like, "Oh my gosh, this scene where we see the ship in space and it's highlighting Fantastic Four, that's probably going to tie into how we got all these infinite universes and blah blah blah." And I see nothing but all these different theories popping out, and then it comes to Fantastic Four, and maybe that's my fault for looking at the expectation of fans. That, if they didn't give it to us, it's our fault for getting our hype up for that. But I was like, this didn't really do anything to like push the overarching story forward, in my opinion.
And that was that, because the end credit scene for Thunderbolts, when they had detected that something had came into the universe and they turned the ship and you saw that Fantastic Four symbol, I was like,
Yeah,
oh shit,
Yeah,
here
that
we
was
go.
nice. That was
we
nice.
finna go.
So
We finna go somewhere with this.
Mhm.
yeah, I was one of those fans that was theorizing like, oh, at the end of something happened. Me and my dad was going back and forth, and I was like, something has to happen in this movie where they have to jump to the 616 universe. Like, this is
Mhm.
the movie that's going to tie into the end credit scene of Thunderbolts, and bam, we're gonna get started. But that didn't happen. It didn't
Yeah,
get tied in with Thunderbolts, and I was kind of like,
yeah.
I'm not
It left us.
I'm not
It
mad
was
at what I saw. I just feel unfulfilled.
Yeah, it was open
Yeah,
ended, so we have even more theories. I think because after we had watched Fantastic Four, we stood in the parking lot and we were like, "This might happen," and there was no clear connection. So I do feel you on that part. Yeah.
But as a standalone movie, Fantastic Four was solid. I saw a lot of people on social media complaining that it wasn't action heavy like previous MCU movies. Um but I do want to say that I don't remember the first 2 Fantastic Four movies being that action heavy. Maybe Silver Surfer was action heavy, but from what I remember for the first Fantastic Four movie, yeah, they saved a couple people, but most of the movie was them working in the lab trying to build this machine, and the sexual tension between Invisible Woman and Mr. Fantastic. Are they gonna get back together? Are they not gonna get back together?
Yeah.
Who's clicking something over there?
I'm done.
All I hear.
Click, click.
I didn't know the mic was that good. My mouse was doing some weird. Keep going. Don't ruin the flow. Sexual tension. Bring back the sexual tension.
He said, "What do we leave off? Sexual tension." Got it.
Bring back the sexual tension.
What I was trying to say was, I didn't get the complaints. I guess I get the complaints about the movie not being action heavy if you look at previous MCU movies. But as far as the Fantastic Four is concerned, they're scientists that just happened to get superpowers.
Yeah.
So yes, they go out and save the day, but I think they make it very apparent at the beginning of the movie that one, they're astronauts, and then they're using their influence for other things. Like Invisible Woman has the Future Foundation, which is basically like the UN. Mr. Fantastic is doing Mr. Bill Nye the Science Guy type shit.
Right.
And I can't remember what Thing and Human Torch do on the side, but it's like
trying to date.
Honestly, because they were looking forward to the next. They were looking forward to the next moment where they can get some action. That whole movie.
Yeah, or when could they go back to space or something like that? But
yeah,
I don't think I was mad. I don't think I was mad about the movie not being action heavy. But I will say the shit did get kicked up when they had to fight Galactus. Now they did lock in. Now they might have not fought for real like majority of the movie, but when it came to Galactus, they locked in.
How did you feel about Galactus as a threat?
Hey, yo, when Galactus showed up on that
the first scene
when they had walked into that spaceship, and when Galactus had like his silhouette, like one, I think I'm just looking at this regular ass mechanical background, like we're inside a fucking Decepticon or some shit. And that man eyes glowed up, and then you start seeing the rest of his silhouette. I said that is the coldest shit.
That was nice. That was really nice.
That they could have did in this movie.
It didn't look like too heavy on CGI or nothing like that too. So I think that they did that nice.
Now, as a threat, I don't know too much about Galactus, so I'm just going to put that out there. But from what I recall, he's a world eater. He kind of reminds me of, what was that guy's name, Ashura or whatever, that big celestial thing.
Yeah, from Celestials,
from Eternals. That's like he's menacing, but like he didn't really do a lot, but like his aura was like.
He definitely had aura because he could have did a lot more, but I feel like he was just like, he's a small fry. They ain't worth my time.
But at the same time, at the same time, Galactus doesn't do the dirty work. That's the whole point of the Silver Surfer. Like when they went into the whole like purpose of the Silver Surfer, she was the one going around and putting, telling these worlds like, oh yeah, you guys are about to end. Galactus shows up. Thanks, girl. She goes to the next one, does all the dirty work, handles all of the resistance. Galactus show up. Thank you. Another one. Thank
you.
Like, he's not his aura is threatening, but it's like physically, I feel like it's all Silver Surfer.
The reason I ask is because, for two reasons. We're to connect it to how we said they haven't really gave much preparation into Dr. Doom and making him seem like a big enough threat. And also going back into, like, say, that Kang conversation we had in a previous superhero fatigue video. Y'all make sure to check it out. Where we were saying how they built up Kang just for Kang to kind of lose to Ant-Man.
That was in a regular episode.
That was a regular episode?
Yeah.
Because I'm not familiar with Galactus either, but I was like, this is kind of quick for like a world-eating giant Titan type thing.
Go ahead, Antoine. My bad.
Me and Foot was talking about that, and I compared it to the same thing. I was like, I kind of get it from the aspect of he didn't show up and they just did too much to like defeat him because that would have really downplayed him for real. So he kind of showed up. He wasn't really paying them no mind. It's like I'm only focused on my one mission. That's my eternal hunger and get rid of that. I don't care nothing about y'all. So if they did too much and they actually like put up a good fight against Galactus, it would have kind of made him seem like, oh, you're not that big because 4 people just rocked your world.
He did push him to the brink, though.
He did.
Like,
And
like
without
at
even
the
trying, for
like
real.
at the end, like yeah, like the man wasn't sweating for real. Like Invisible Woman had to literally kick the bucket for them to push him into that black hole thing. And even then, that wasn't even all. Silver Surfer had to come in at the last minute for the final push.
Hmm.
Okay.
But I feel like resistance wise, if you were looking for like why didn't Galactus like Godzilla knock over buildings and things like that stop resisting? Because that's Silver Surfer's whole point.
Hmm.
Her whole point is to prepare this planet for Galactus. And that's going in even in
My
the,
Herald.
my point goes into the month that they were preparing for Galactus when they start making all of those teleporter beams around the Earth. Who came and knocked them bitches down? Silver Surfer. She said,
Right.
Galactus is
Hmm.
Yeah.
coming. Watch me squash this shit.
I would say I feel the way that I feel like Galactus is definitely a huge threat because I feel like this was like we can't do nothing about him. We gotta get away. We can't take him down. We just gotta think of a workaround. And kind of like Thanos left us feeling after like I guess Infinity War, like man, this man is they can't beat this man. What are they gonna do? So I felt the same way about Galactus. Now I do wish we would have got some build up for Doom like that to see if he's really that type of threat, but maybe we'll get that in the next movie. I don't know.
I don't know. If they don't do nothing to Spider-Man, we gonna have to wait until Doomsday. But
Doomsday see something.
I do want to talk about. Let's just talk about the reason why they had to fight against Galactus, and we're gonna have to talk about Franklin Richards. So, on the outside looking in, this is just a baby. But when
It's
you
just a
read,
baby.
it's just a baby. But when you read up on Franklin Richards, because I wasn't on game with Franklin Richards, I had to go do my
Right.
research. That baby
OP.
is OP. That is he was considered, he is a Omega level mutant. And they called him that like when he was like 12. He can create universes in his sleep.
Yep.
So
I
when
definitely went and studied up.
Galactus looked at him and he was like, something's not right about that baby. When Galactus looks at your baby and says, you got something in there. You got something in there.
So is that probably
Yeah.
foreshadowing to the mutant saga?
I think it's foreshadowing. I would be curious to see when we get to the Mutant Saga how Franklin Richard progresses. I think what we need to focus on for Doomsday is the universe part. Because the end credit scene where Sue walks off, grabs the book, turns around, and Doom is talking to Franklin, there's theories that Franklin is going to take that baby and he's going to use him to create Battle
Boom is
World.
gonna take the baby.
Yeah,
Okay.
who I say?
You said Franklin's gonna take the baby.
My bad. Doom is going to take the baby and use him to create Battle World. So that's the new theory going around.
Gotcha.
But that's what we're thinking. But at the same time, we haven't seen Franklin do it. The only thing we've seen Franklin do with his powers is bring back Invisible Woman.
Quick question: do y'all think that's the Doom from that Earth, or is he from a different?
There's another theory I heard, because I think I know what you're leading into. Are you leading into the Doom theory?
Yep.
They're saying that it's two Doctor Dooms. Now they said this earlier, when RDJ first got casted as Doctor Doom. There were theories saying that he wasn't going to be the only Doctor Doom, and then I think Marvel came after that, and it was like, no, he is Victor Von Doom. Now they're saying again is that there's going to be two Doctor Dooms, and the Doctor Doom that came from Franklin is the good one. And then there's going to be another one, and that's the one that we got to watch out for in Doomsday.
I'll be
So why is
curious to
there a
see.
good Doctor Doom? Is it going to be a Doom v Doom in Doomsday movie, or is
Well,
that just?
I could only, because we're dealing with the multiverse, right? And there's variants of everybody. So maybe he's not a good Doctor Doom. Maybe he has an ulterior motive, but he needs the Avengers, and he needs Fantastic Four, and he needs Franklin Richards, while the Op Doom is he's trying to do I'm bad all by myself by any means necessary.
Gotcha.
So
And
we're
more than
not.
likely, that'll be the one to create Battle World from the comics.
Yeah, maybe.
Okay.
Theory. We don't know. But yeah, if you didn't know, if you weren't put on game about why that baby is so special, Franklin Richards is basically God.
I mean, honestly,
I was reading up on his lore, and he did something where he pulled Galactus out like he was a damn buddy fighter in Mortal Kombat 1. Like, there's a comic book still of him saying, "To me, my Galactus."
I saw that one.
And I was like, "What?"
Yeah. I went down a rabbit hole with that stuff. I was like, oh wow, this little Franklin, he's with it.
Franklin got some oomph behind him. But I would be. They already hinted that he's hella smart, just due to the end credit scene and the books and stuff that he be reading. But I'm curious to see how they use him going forward. And if the two Doom theory is true, which Doom was that, and what do they need him for? And if it's just one Doom, then I think we can just assume that he needs him to create the new universe, to create Battle World.
Yeah.
Interesting.
I also want to say I really liked this Silver Surfer. She got a lot of shit when they first dropped that she was going to be the female Silver Surfer, Shalla-Bal. But she did her thing. I liked her more than the dude from
OG
Jessica Alba. And OG Fantastic Four. I liked her.
Yeah, and I remember I used to love that Silver Surfer movie. I can't remember it though for real. I can't remember exactly what happened. Like if we got his backstory of how he became Silver Surfer or what his role was, I can't remember.
I don't remember if we got a backstory for him.
But I don't remember those movies at all, but I do appreciate her backstory being presented, because I didn't know there was a backstory behind the
That's what I was
Silver
gonna
Surfer.
say. I do appreciate them giving us that little bit. I was like, oh, okay, so it's just not a being that just popped up out of nowhere. Okay, got it.
But they kind of had like the same arc, because if I remember correctly, Invisible Woman had some type of connection to the male Silver Surfer, which made him turn on Galactus. And in this movie, they did the Human Torch and this Silver Surfer, and had her, switch up on Galactus towards the end. But I do want to touch on those fight scenes in space when she was surfing on that damn whatever that galactic thing they were in, those stars and shit. I will say the space the cinematography for the shit that they did in space in Fantastic Four was lovely.
That was nice.
I like that shit.
When she popped up and when they was trying to leave and she popped up and she went through
the spaceship.
I was like, man, oh my God.
I was like, this shit that turned into a horror movie real quick.
Oh my god.
That was good because I did not think
They did not think that she was gonna go through there. She started coming through that damn window easily.
she did. She tried to take that baby.
When she put her hand in the wound, and I was like, oh. But let's talk about this though, because me, my dad, and Antoine were joking about this, about when they got back to Earth, and everybody was like, oh my god, they're back, and they're doing the press conference. It was like, how did you beat Galactus? Give us all the deets. And Mr. Fantastic's like, so we did beat Galactus. We tried to negotiate, but he asked too high of a price. And they was like, what did they ask? And Invisible Woman got the baby in the bag. And I was like, see, this is the difference between Tony Stark and Mr. Fantastic.
Right.
Because Tony Stark would have gave Black Widow that baby. If this had been the OG Avengers, Tony Stark would have gave Black Widow that baby and said, go to the farthest shit. Go to Wakanda right now. Right now. We're going to come up with something. We're not telling these people
that
Galactus asked for this baby.
Yeah,
I was so surprised when they actually told them the truth. I was like, why you do that? Why you do that? That was the price I had to pay, and y'all didn't want to give it the baby. The folks gonna be mad.
But I feel like that's just the difference of like, you ever heard of like so smart, but like something you make dumb decisions. Like you're so smart that you're like you're too
or you're not
honest.
Street smart.
Yeah, or like you're too honest. Like for you to be this smart, Reed, I don't think you should have told them people that fresh off the spaceship.
Fresh off.
Yeah.
I'm talking about she holding the baby back there.
I'm like, he's fresh. Because
me, I would have said, give him the baby then.
Like
what? Ain't y'all our protectors? Protect us then.
If they had a Thaddeus Ross on Earth 828, he was definitely coming for that baby.
Yeah. I'm like, fantastic. Who? Y'all finna stay for get a 5.
I was like, why would you tell them that?
Man. They was like, why didn't you give the baby up?
But it also shows the difference between, because as far as we know, the Fantastic Four is the only superhero team on 828.
Mm-hmm.
So it does show you the difference of trust between the general public and the heroes that are sent to protect them. Because if we look at 616, you got parts of the world that's like, yay, the Avengers. But if you want to talk about Age of Ultron, when they had pulled up on Sokovia, they was throwing like acid bombs and stuff at Iron Man, at the little Iron Legion and stuff like that. Point being, they were not happy that them folks was there.
Right.
Yeah.
You could tell that they were the only heroes. By the way, they easily got everybody around the world to kind of cooperate with their plan.
Yeah.
And I was like, wow, that really shows you the impact that they have on the Earth.
Because had Captain America got on there and said, hey, y'all, we need to leave me alone. Click.
Yeah. It would have been a different story.
So I did like that. I did like seeing the differences between the universes and how they respond to their superhero teams. Because I was like, if this was on 616, this would have been a different story. Like, we would have had to fight the general public and Galactus towards the end of this movie.
Yeah, because at this point in history, they are the only like superheroes, mutants, or whatever at this point in time, based on the current Marvel MCU universe. Correct? Like at this point, they haven't experienced anybody. No superhumans, nothing.
Well, they're on a different universe, so I don't know how their whole thing is set up.
Yeah. Okay. It did give a nice little alternative into like, oh, this is what the world will be like if people actually trusted the Avengers that much.
Because like, even when we went to like Earth 838 and Multiverse of Madness, like we didn't see the general public's response to the Illuminati.
Mm-hmm.
We just saw Doctor Strange's perspective. Mm-hmm. And even when Monica Rambeau showed up on that other universe at the end of the Marvels, no general public, how they feel about them. And even if we want to talk about Deadpool and Wolverine, no general public response to any heroes that could have been, if they had any, on that Earth. So like this is our first time seeing like that difference. Is seeing a superhero team other than the OG Avengers and the new Avengers and everybody else and how they respond to their public. But I will say this though, when they get to 616, they're gonna be in for a ride.
Ooh.
They're gonna be in for a ride.
Yeah, folks, it's not finna look up to y'all at all. Y'all just another group of heroes.
What can you do? I can stretch. Okay.
All right, all right.
Okay.
We got
And not
1,000
that
people that can
far.
stretch.
You said what?
And not that far.
Yeah, I saw some complaints about they were upset about how they did Mr. Fantastic stretching.
So I did make a tweet about it. I wasn't like, I will say I kind of was disappointed because I will say I was disappointed. I'm disappointed because I had did so much digging into like what all Reed Richards could do, and I was like, oh wow, like he really can do a lot with his stretching ability. So when I saw that in that movie, and for them to be an already established team, I was thinking like they're already built up and developed into their powers. So I was like, oh, he's
I
he's stretching you like a rubber band and you screaming. And I was like,
yeah.
maybe the perspective is off and he was being stretched more than it looked like. I don't know.
I don't know. It didn't look like he was getting stretched that bad to me. I feel like they did more with his stretchy powers in the OG, and he was just doing stupid shit with it.
Yeah.
Than
I
they
Yeah.
did see that
did
comparison. We
when
barely
they
saw him
did.
using stretchy powers
When they saw him stretching on that to hold up
when he
that
was like jumping.
Yeah,
he was trying to stretch and hold up that the thing called the little ride, the Ferris wheel. On the
Yeah.
OG movie, he did a lot of stretching to hold that up. So people were trying to compare that to the little bit of stretching that Galactus did. And I was like, yeah, it's kind of.
I think that's the part that got me. Like, I get it. The movie's not action heavy, so we're not gonna see him stretch a lot. But like Galactus did like this, and you my
Oh my!
bones,
Yeah.
my bones.
I was like, that's your one
He
ability, and he could max you out.
he should have at least pulled you like some hubba
Like
bubba
you would think
thirty
he
I
in
gonna
was
like
30
go
like,
like
out
seconds.
this
here.
far or something.
Like he should have at least did this.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
He was like this. He was face whipped.
Like
And
shit,
I was like, and you screaming.
he stretched more on Marvel Rivals than he did on the damn movie.
Yeah, I was kind of threw off from that part though. I was kind of disappointed. I hope
I
that's
think
not his limit, and maybe he just has to learn what his limit. I don't know.
I feel like as far as the team as a whole, the two that I really enjoyed seeing their powers was Human Torch and Invisible Woman.
Yeah, they gave their powers more of a. It seemed more heroic and I guess fantastical.
But it yes, and it gave like full potential. Like going back to my first point, like they've been the Fantastic Four for years, so they already
Hmm.
know, like they already have a handle on their powers. So when Invisible Woman was doing that shit to Galactus, I was like, oh yeah,
And her
oh
nose not
yeah,
bleeding. I mean,
And,
granted, she
oh
died,
yeah.
but still, I was like,
and
man, that's how I feel like. I was like, this is how Sue Storm should be.
and technically the thing's superpowers. I mean, his powers are kind of basic, but technically his superpowers are on full display. And he was like pulling that boat out the water. I was like, oh, can he like breathe underwater or something? I was like, well, he is a
Yeah,
rock. I mean, ain't he like? Is he technically immortal or whatever? Like, how does that work for him?
I don't know.
Nah.
Like I was like the way he did that, it was kind of fire. I was like, okay, not only are you strong, you can like walk through water to this degree. It gave him some clarity and some shine with his abilities.
And
Yeah.
that's fair too. But I to me, the Human Torch scenes and the Invisible Woman scenes took it from me. That first fight against Silver Surfer, I was like, oh yeah, yeah, yeah. And
Yeah.
she was pregnant and she was in labor. Yeah,
Yeah.
And she was in
yeah,
labor.
Yeah.
yeah.
That was nice to see.
It was on full
They
display.
they did her justice on the big screen. I'll say that much.
And I like how they kept doing that full comparison to the Invincibles on social media. I was like, oh, they is the team of Invincibles.
Invincibles or Incredibles?
Incredibles, my
Because
bad, typo.
I was definitely getting heavy Incredible vibes
It was.
from the movie. And I don't know this. This is probably something that we could look up of like, was the Incredibles inspired by Fantastic Four in some type of way? Or do they just have like, because they're family focused, they
Yeah.
Mhm.
have similar tropes to where you can
Right.
see aspects of each other in either group.
Pretty much similar abilities, excluding Human Torch and
Dash.
Dash.
Yeah,
Yeah, Jack is basically Franklin Richards.
Mm-hmm.
basically.
Basically.
Yeah. He do everything.
But I do like the fact, going back to the feel of the universe, it did feel very, I like the retro thing. I know Antoine said when he first saw it he didn't know how to feel about it, but I did like the retro theme too. It felt like the Jetsons. Like we're the Jetsons,
You're
but
right.
like
It
we have
did.
like a superhero
Hmm.
team. It felt very whimsical
Hmm.
for uh a comic book movie, and I think I liked it. We got he got Serioso when Galactus showed up, but like at the first beginning of the movie felt very whimsical and retro, and I really
Yeah.
like the feel of it, because we're so, maybe with the exception of a couple MCU movies, we're pretty much in modern day every
Yeah.
time we watch a new MCU movie. So to
Hmm.
see a whole movie being taken place on another universe, a whole movie existing on another universe in a different time period, I like the way that they did that.
It was a different. It
Uh,
was a nice take on that. I'll say that.
yeah, I wasn't looking forward to it, but I will say the way they executed, like this is what the future looked like to people back in the 80s. If you had to ask them what the future was going to look like, I feel like it really hammered in that this is a different universe. We're not in the modern MCU time period, so it really allowed you as an audience to become immersed into that new setting. Like
I
even if because it was executed really well.
Yeah, I really liked it. Like I said, it got real serious when Galactus showed up. Like ain't nothing whimsical about this shit now. But when it first started, I was like, okay, I'm digging this. I like the
Mm-hmm.
vibes. Um, and I guess I'm just curious to see now, like when they do get to whoever is on that spaceship, because now we don't know. My assumption is that they were all on the spaceship. My assumption was that they gave Galactus the slip and sent him somewhere else, and they went to 616.
Right.
But whoever's on that ship, I am curious to see how they respond
So,
to the modern technology of 616.
mhm.
Like, is Reed Richards gonna look at this and be like, or is he gonna look at this and be like, what did y'all do? Why does this
Yeah.
work like this? Who told
Yeah.
you to do this?
So I guess my question is that what technically is that what happened? Like, are we going to see in Doomsday that after this movie, the Fantastic Four is now in regular Earth 616?
Well, that
I,
depends on what Doctor Doom does with Franklin. Because the
Mm-hmm.
other theory is that, along with the theory that Doctor Doom kidnaps Franklin, now they're saying that's the reason why the Fantastic Four got in that spaceship and went to 616.
Mm-hmm.
so that could be the Doctor Doom from there, from the 616 Earth, and maybe they follow him.
Does 616 even have a Doctor Doom? And
So
and the other thing I want to touch on is at the beginning of the movie when they were showing Invisible Woman um doing her Future Foundation speech. If you guys noticed, they zoomed in on a country called Latveria, and there wasn't a chair right there. That's where Doctor Doom is from. That's his thing.
yeah.
Technically, he's supposed to be the representative of
Mhm.
Latveria. And with
Okay.
him not being there, it makes you wonder, going back to Antoine's question, is the Doctor Doom that we saw at the end credit scene their Doctor Doom? And he's been out doing who knows what, and now he's popped back up, and I'm finna take this baby? Or is there another Doctor Doom and he's been doing something else? Either way, it's suspicious that he wasn't at the press conference or whatever the fuck that she was doing. That the seat
Yeah.
was empty. Suspicious.
I mean, if
Yeah.
that's the Easter egg, it would make me lean towards thinking it is their Doctor Doom. Like maybe he got peered into another universe. Maybe it's through the baby that he discovers other universes and that baby's abilities. Because he hasn't always essentially been a villain to the Fantastic Four, correct? Like this is probably
No.
around the time where he
He's
becomes a villain.
Oh, you're saying in this universe.
Yeah, like in this time period in the
well, it
MCU.
depends. It depends on what the backstory is because, like, Reed and Victor Von Doom's been ops since like college. Like he hates that man. Like how Lex Luthor hates Superman. Dr. Doom hates that man.
Mm-hmm.
And then when his face gets messed up and he gets the whole Dr. Doom get up, and then it just turns into Dr. Doom versus Fantastic Four. Now we're superpowered ops. But he's been hated that man. So, but to your point, I don't know what level we're at with it yet.
Yeah.
If that's not him, where is the Victor Von Doom of 828?
Right. Questions that need answers.
Does 616 have a Dr. Doom?
Yeah,
Which would
because
be
if
my
they got a Dr.
question.
Doom, why would they not have a Fantastic Four?
Well, there's I would like to see how they explain that. Actually, we know the behind the scenes money talks, financial reasons why 616 didn't have a established Fantastic Four until now.
But what are they gonna tell us?
But what are they going to tell us when we get to the movie?
Right.
Unless that ship in Thunderbolts is their Fantastic Four, and like on their universe, oh, these folks from years and years and years ago finally came back. We remember their video.
I wouldn't like that. I wouldn't like that. I wouldn't like
Because
that.
they would have had to
They was in space for a long. They was in space for a long time. Spider-Man, who's that? Iron Man, who's that?
No, I hope not. I would rather them just use the Fantastic Four from 828 and just say 616 doesn't have a Fantastic Four, and that'll be fine to me. 616 already doesn't have mutants, so if they didn't have a Fantastic Four, fine.
Mm-hmm.
Fine. But for a random ass spaceship to show up in the beginning of Doomsday and be like, "Oh my God, we finally made it back." You finally did what?
For as long as we've been around and we ain't heard nothing about y'all, what do you mean?
You finally did what? No, I wouldn't. Nah, I wouldn't like that.
Yeah.
Because then we would have two different Fantastic Four teams too, and
we already got we got Sam's Avengers, who we don't know what you can assume. We can assume who's on the lineup for it, but we haven't seen them physically. We've only seen the new Avengers from Thunderbolts. We've seen the Fantastic Four. We've seen all of the other characters. We know a few of the X-Men, the OG X-Men are coming back, so we kind of know who's on that team. But like, for y'all to bring in a whole nother Fantastic Four,
yeah,
no,
they're not gonna be able to do that well within the movies that we have coming up. I don't think so.
Because then I'm gonna ask, why did we focus on this group for this movie?
Right, that part, yeah.
Because if we do that, I'm definitely gonna ask, why did we focus
Why
on
even
them?
introduce them?
Even as a standalone. For them to have their own movie that's focused on them, with the only Easter egg into Doomsday being the end credit scene. If y'all show up with another Fantastic Four team, I'm going to ask why.
Yeah.
Yeah, don't do that.
Yeah, don't.
Mom, if you're listening to this, don't do that.
Man, but I think that's all the hot takes I had. Did you guys have anything else, theories or anything else you guys wanted to discuss for the movie? I'm trying to rack my brain if there was anything else I wanted to talk about specifically, but I think we touched everything.
I would say, because I don't know if I said anything much about this in comparison to the previous Fantastic Four movies. I would say I did definitely love the OG Fantastic Four. Didn't watch that last one that came out, the newest one with Michael B. Jordan. But in comparison, I like the OG one for its own standalone thing. It's not related to anything else. I think they did that in a nice way. But I'm not mad at this one. I think this one was good. Um, I don't know if I want to put it on top or bottom. I don't know. I want to look at them as two different things and say they both did good for what they stood for.
I feel everything can be compared. I hate the apples to oranges arguments and shit. But I will say I don't remember much about any of the Fantastic Four movies. When I look at the covers for Michael B. Jordan one, I don't remember liking anything about it or hating it. The first two, like you, Antoine, I remember liking it. But it's hard for me to say which is better or
Yeah,
worse because
it's
I'm
been a
like
minute.
this one is not as recent on my mind, and two, it's like this one actually has the support of an entire universe. Like I objectively probably will like Batman Dark Knight more than any other dark Batman movie that comes out, but also these new Batman movies are finna be tied to a whole large universe. So am I just comparing it as an individual story or how they depicted their version of Batman? One that's being true or one that's being false? I will say I just remember enjoying the first two more though.
Sure.
I I don't know. I think I like this new one more. I think because just everybody's like in their peak in the peak of their powers, and we're getting a little bit deeper into the Fantastic Four lore with bringing in Richards and um the extent of everybody's powers instead of like the first two where the first, like I said, the first one was getting used to our powers. Do we want to keep our powers? Will they or will they won't kiss each other in the mouth? And then the second one was Silver Surfer with the
Yeah.
whole power switch thing and the whole Jessica Alba got to be invisible in the middle of the street because she didn't burn all
Hmm.
her clothes off and stuff. I think I like this one more just because of the way that they set up the family bond, and I really like the retro thing to it, and I like how they
Hmm.
focus really showed that like they were they're scientists first and the
Yeah.
powers are secondhand.
Yeah.
And I like the female. I like the Shalla-Bal Silver Surfer and Galactus thing. So I would have to say I think I like this one more.
I wish I remembered more about the OG ones, but I don't.
I
I
think the
just remember that I
OGs
used to like it. That's
I think the
that's
OGs are
honestly
gonna
it.
have a special place in our
Yeah.
hearts because we saw them when we were kids.
Yeah. I think that's
So
really
like,
it.
so
Blockbuster era.
yeah. So there's a nostalgia there of
Hmm.
seeing it, but like seeing a fully mature Fantastic Four team, I think this is the one. I think this is the one.
Yeah.
Like, why if those OG if they went with the same type of theme or vibe with the OG movies and tried to throw that in right now, I don't think I would have enjoyed it.
That's true. Yeah.
I- I'll also say, I know we kind of touched on it. Going forward, not only for MCU but DC, if this trend of doing more introductory movies versus origin story movies, especially for characters that we're semi familiar with, or there's content in the 2000s onward that we can find on them, if this becomes a trend where we stick to these types of movies, I'm not against that.
Well, you
I
remember Kevin Feige said for the Mutant Saga, like the first couple movies are going to be introductory movies. We don't know like who they're going to focus on, but they're going to be like those solo introductory type movies.
So are you confident we can interpret in the way that we're defining introductory movies? Like you feel like the way he's implying is similar to how we're using it, like they're like a 2-3 years into their superhero tenure or X-Men tenure rather.
Well, I don't know because you remember we talked about that. We don't know if it's going to be like the X-Men's already been established and they're just
Yeah.
trying to find their place in it, or they might not be in the X-Men yet, but they've just discovered their powers, and this is about them overcoming the challenges of knowing that they're a mutant, and then eventually they find themselves with the X-Men towards the end.
Right.
I don't know.
Yeah.
But as
It's
far
an
as
interest.
like skipping the origin story, I don't know, because as far as the X-Men is concerned, I know this is getting a little bit off topic. So if you stuck with us at this point, we appreciate it. If you've been enjoying the discussion so far, make sure you like this video, leave a comment, and subscribe to the channel. But I feel like part of the X-Men is not origin necessarily, but how their powers are triggered. because there are some members who have some very like, because the whole thing with X-Men is like discrimination and prejudice and things like that, and some of their powers get activated or reach their peak because of these situations. So I feel like some things we might have to see just because it's essential and it's crucial to these characters' story.
I would agree.
But I don't know if they're just gonna start them out. It may be one of those things where it's like, I have my powers and we'll get some flashbacks. I don't know if it's gonna be like the first act of this movie, I don't have powers, and then the second act of the movie something really bad happens and then I get my powers, and then the third act of the movie is that I do something crazy with my powers and Charles Xavier rolls up and be like, hey my boy, I have a place for you.
Or rather, if you do that, don't do it for an X-Men we're overly familiar with. Like, we don't have to see that with Wolverine or nobody. Like, throw a random X-Men into the fray to actually do that with, so we can get attached to someone new.
Yeah.
But to
your overall point, if the trend is going to be skip the origin story, I don't mind it.
Yeah.
I don't mind it.
Yeah.
Okay.
All right. That's all y'all got?
Good on my
I
end.
think that's touched on everything I have to say.
All right. Well, let's go ahead and shut this down. So once again, thank you, Ryun and Antoine, for joining me on another episode of the Blerd Mob Podcast. Like I said before, if you've enjoyed this mob review and want to be notified of when we do our next mob review, make sure you subscribe to the channel. Make sure you like this video and leave a comment and let us know how you felt about Fantastic Four First Steps, how you felt about some of the theories we were throwing around, and Ryan's last question about whether or not you want to see more origin story superhero movies, or should we continue to skip the origins? Make sure you follow us on our social media platforms. We're on Instagram at the Blerd Mob Pod. We're on Twitter at the Blerd Mob, and you can find us on Facebook and TikTok at the Blerd Mob Podcast. And with all that being said, this is the mob checking out. Peace.
I know we're saving that for later, but god damn it, I love a villain who is just a hater. That was beyond Kendrick level of hate.
But that's Lex Luthor's. That's Lex Luthor.
That's Lex.
A certified hater.